Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Coffee, where in today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at how the Clone Wars almost gave us the answer as to why Anakin's Force Ghost at the end of Return of the Jedi was young. That's today here on Star Wars Coffee. Greetings, Exalted Ones. Greetings to all you Jedi, Padawans, and younglings out there. This is Star Wars Coffee, covering everything you need to know about the latest developments, news, and leaks in Star Wars, and as always, giving you my analysis. Star Wars The Clone Wars is one of the greatest animated series, and I think that the Star Wars Season 7 in specific is just phenomenal, especially those last 4 episodes. But Season 7 overall was just a fantastic step up from what was already an incredible series. And I think that one of the things that could have made it even more incredible was how the Clone Wars almost explained Anakin's Force Ghost. So we're going to take a look at this article from Tom Chang titled Star Wars The Clone Wars Nearly Explained Anakin's Force Ghost, and it goes as follows. One of the most appealing things about the Dave Filoni animated Star Wars universe is how it provides a perfect complement to the existing film canon from George Lucas. The Clone Wars fills in many of these blanks from how do Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Anakin Skywalker becomes Force ghosts when they die, but no other Jedi came back? Or how did Boba Fett become the bounty hunter he did? While Yoda and Obi-Wan's Force ghost training are eventually explained, no one is ever told how he got to the Master when it appears as his Jedi self rather than as Darth Vader at the end of Return of the Jedi. Wonder no more, as Darth Maul voice actor Sam Witwer revealed how during an IGN and Cinefex watch party of Return of the Jedi. So one thing to keep in mind before we keep going is you have this version of how Anakin became a Force Ghost in the Return of the Jedi novelization. However, the version that they take that excerpt from is no longer actually canon. So what we do now is we have to explain in a different way of how this was actually canon, and Dave Filoni almost embarked on this task in the final season of the Clone Wars, and Sam Witwer details it in the following. Continuing on. In the original cut of the 1983 film, after Vader succumbs to his wound on the second Death Star and Luke flees to escape the core meltdown, he joins his fellow rebels on Endor during their victory in the presumed fall of the Galactic Empire. In the final scene, he peers off into the distance where he sees the Force ghosts of Yoda, Obi-Wan, and now Anakin Skywalker joining them. Since the amended special edition in 2004, George Lucas replaced him with younger actor Hayden Christensen. He would go on to play him in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. Witwer, who provided the voice for Darth Maul in the Clone Wars, Rebels, and the live-action film Solo, revealed the loose end in the form of dialogue was supposed to take place on the series finale of the Clone Wars on Disney+. Would have been amazing, would have made an already exceptional arc even better. Sam Witwer says as follows, and I quote, George Lucas explained that when you're a Jedi and think of your friends, you can sort of touch them in the Force. You can just kind of reach out and think of your friend and you get a good feeling. You know that they're out there, and you look out in the starlit sky and there's stars out there and every one of them is a Jedi. And when the Empire starts taking over, one by one stars start winking out, until Order 66. Boom. Almost all of them are gone at once, and when Ahsoka reaches out to touch her friend Anakin, he's gone. She doesn't sense Anakin Skywalker out there. He is no longer there. So her assumption is he's dead. He was killed, so that the idea Anakin Skywalker died when he did in Revenge of the Sith was also built into the Clone Wars series and into George's understanding of how the Force works and how these things work. So in other words, when you turn to the dark side, you cease to exist in your natural state, and your time in light represents the way the Force sees you. Ultimately, with all these bad guys, the further down into the dark path they go, the more they become a caricature of themselves. I mean, if you look at Darth Vader, the sweep of his helmet is a mockery of Anakin's hairstyle. His robes are like a mockery of what Anakin's Jedi robes were. Even Darth Maul becomes a twisted mockery with spider legs and all kind of weird stuff. Palpatine is a completely evil caricature of Senator Palpatine. The darker they go, it's like if you never heard the word no from anyone, or you refuse hearing the word no from any other human. You're no longer living in the real world, and you suddenly start behaving very strangely. Star Wars and go to the dark side. So the idea that Anakin became a different person, that's part of the DNA all the way back from these movies, and all the way through the Clone Wars, all the way through the prequels, all that stuff. It's fun. interesting stuff to think about. So Sam Witwer actually gave that's a pretty astute assumption and analysis there by Sam Witwer. Again, he had some insight into what Filoni was thinking, into what George Lucas was thinking, but well said. This is actually very intriguing and very interesting to see how Force Ghosts and the explanation for it in a canon, live-action-ish type of way, even through the animated series, would have been, and clarifying that answer of this long-debated question of why Anakin is young at the end of Return of the Jedi. This would have provided a nice answer and a really helpful way to help us understand how the Force works, considering it seems that the Force can be twisted and turned depending on who's writing the story and what needs to happen in the story, and the Force can magically do this new thing. But this would have given a concrete type of set structure for the Force and the way it works and how it sees beings and people in their life force. So that would have been a really exciting thing to see. Let me know what you guys think about this comment of Sam Witwer in the idea of Anakin's Force Ghost in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching. May God bless you and the Force be with you always. If you enjoyed this episode, and frankly, even if you didn't, don't forget to subscribe. Do it! And if you want to help spread the word, please give this video a thumbs up and tell your friends to subscribe. Please check out the official Star Wars Coffee merchandise, and don't forget to check out all of the content playlists on this channel, including The Rise of Skywalker, The Mandalorian, and much more.